I'm Dr. Peter Kwasniewski. I'm a writer, editor, composer, former university professor. My area of specialty is the sacred liturgy. I decided to join Pelican Plus because I'm very excited about the possibility of working with other wonderful content creators, my friends, my colleagues, my soldiers in arms in the battle for Catholic tradition. What I really love about Pelican Plus is that for one subscription, a reader can access so much fantastic content, orthodox, inspiring, faithful content. Instead of having to go here or there, everywhere, paying all these different separate subscriptions, for one price, it's an entire platform. Faithfully Catholic, no ads, no nonsense, no immorality, only solid, straight Catholic truth. I enjoy watching videos and listening to audio and listening to audiobooks, but fundamentally, I'm a writer and I love to write and I love to read. And the people who follow me tend to be those sorts of people. So Pelican Plus, of course, is going to have lots of podcasts, lots of good video content, many kinds of media, but it will have straightforward writing, good, serious essay writing, articles, investigations, documentation for people who enjoy reading and who want to understand more deeply the issues that face Catholics, especially in the area of liturgy. Catholics are heirs to millennia of liturgical tradition, beginning with the Israelites and running through the entire era of Christianity and Christendom. There is such a treasure we have, and we don't even know it. We barely scratch the surface of it. We can always dive more deeply into our bimillennial inheritance. And what I try to do in my work is I try to open up the treasure chest of Catholic tradition. I try to help Catholics enrich their spiritual lives, enrich their family lives with the discovery of so many gems, so many precious elements of faith and spirituality that are often neglected and for decades now have been sidelined or even ignored or denied. So my work is to bring the riches of Catholic tradition to every person who reads Pelican Plus. Catholic liturgical tradition is a vast terrain. It's like a massive forest on a mountain. It can be quite intimidating for people when they first come across it. They wonder, how do I enter into this? How do I orient myself? What's my compass? What's my map? And what I try to do in my work is I try to break things down into little bite-sized pieces. Here is some insight about the Holy Mass that you never knew before. Here is the meaning of this particular gesture or symbol that you encounter in the liturgy. Here's how you pray the office of prime in the morning. This little sweet little office of prime that is the office of fighters and workers. It's the office that we begin the day with. And so, if you take it piece by piece, then slowly you can become conversant with and comfortable with all of these elements of tradition and then enrich your own life with them. Decades ago, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger said, "The crisis in the church is to a large extent the crisis of the liturgy." He is right, he was right, he remains right. In order for the Catholic Church to emerge from its bondage to modernity, this unwise course in which many leaders of the church decided to accommodate themselves to liberal Western modernity instead of valiantly proclaiming the gospel in the face of it, Ratzinger is right. And we need to go back into the riches of our tradition, which were largely discarded after the Second Vatican Council. These are our weapons. These are our stronghold, our anchor. This is what is going to carry us through the difficult times ahead. Let's say you're a Catholic discovering tradition for the first time, or even let's say that you've been going to the traditional Latin Mass for years, but you want to go deeper. You want to learn more. For example, you've heard about the Divine Office or the Breviary, and you're asking yourself, what is this? How can I make it part of my prayer life? Pelican Plus is a platform that is going to help Catholics at whatever place they're at, whatever they're already doing or not doing or interested in doing or curious about. It's going to help them to understand, how do I pray lauds, morning prayer, or vespers, prime, or compline, evening prayer, night prayer? How do I pray the rosary in different ways? For example, in Latin, if I want to pray the prayers in Latin. What about all these special chaplets that grew up in the Middle Ages, the chaplet of the Holy Face? These are very powerful devotions. We have, in our tradition, we have so many rich devotions to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, to the Holy Name of Jesus, to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, to so many different saints. And of course, we can't do all of them, and we're not supposed to do all of them, but Pelican Plus is a place where you can explore and discover and learn what is going to be most fruitful for your spiritual life. I've been researching, studying, seeking truth for decades about the liturgy, about the divine worship of the Catholic Church. And I had to struggle many, many times trying to find answers to questions. When I began looking decades ago, there was not a lot of information out there. There were a few books. They weren't always easy to get. Certainly there wasn't the internet. As time has gone on, I've published a lot, my friends have published a lot. The information that's there now is plentiful and clear, but it's still not easy to access for people who are new to these questions. So one of the great benefits of Pelican Plus is that it will bring together in one place lectures, articles, the information that people are looking for in a way that's easy to find, easy to access, and it will save people a ton of trouble. Decades ago, Father James Schall, who used to teach at Georgetown University, he wrote a book called Another Sort of Learning, which is a book that assumed that college students, university students, were not receiving the education that they needed to. And that was true. And that remains, unfortunately, true about many schools, not necessarily the good Catholic ones. And so what Father Schall said is, here are the things you need to do to educate yourself in spite of the limitations and defects of the educational system. And I feel in a similar way about the wild west of the internet. The internet has everything, good, bad, ugly. All kinds of things are out there. A lot of misinformation is out there about Catholicism, about the liturgy, not just misinformation, just downright lies. And so Pelican Plus is a platform where you can go to educate yourself, where you can rely on solid Catholic information. And again, it's gathered and curated in a way that makes learning a pleasure. Sign up for Pelican Plus now.